Hello, worship leaders. Welcome back to another video, and today we are going to be discussing secondary dominance in music theory. Now, you may hear the word dominant and it might seem familiar, and that's because in music theory, TSDT, the tonic, subdominant, and dominant, is a super common theme that will be used throughout music theory and in worship. Just as a quick refresher, because we're going to be using this a lot, the tonic province is normally associated with the one chord of a specific key. Sometimes there could be a minor six, normally it's the one chord. The subdominant province is normally associated with the four chord. Sometimes you can have a minor two or also a minor six, but normally the four. And then in the dominant province, normally it's associated with the five chord. Now sometimes you could have maybe a minor three, or maybe a diminished seven, but normally it's associated with the five chord. Okay, so now we are going to do some examples. If y'all want to pull out your notes, and you can write this down as well. But first off, we're going to be looking at this one. So we're going to be in the key of A, and we have our Nashville numbers 6, 7, and 2 minor. And we have this written out, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to try to find out what the Roman numerals for this should be. Now, first off, we see these two, the 6, 7, and the 2 minor. So right away, in the key of A, we know that the 6 minor normally is going to be F sharp minor, right? So we know that there should be an F sharp, but this isn't a minor, it's a major. So this is an F sharp 7, okay? And we can see that just by looking at the notes as well, right? We have an F sharp, we have a C sharp, we have an E, and then we have an A sharp. So we know right away, okay, we got an F sharp 7 here. And then we look, 2 minor in the key of A, okay, that's B minor. So F sharp obviously is the 5 in the key of B minor. So let's start off. We know that. And every single time in this chapter, we'll start off when we're looking at the secondary dominant, it will be a 5-7, because that's what it is, okay? And then because it is going to a 2 minor, and because in the moment it's like we're in the key of B minor, it is the 5-7 of 2 minor, okay? And then this is just a regular 2 minor that's written, so 2 minor. Now that we've gone over how secondary dominants work, I want to give y'all an example of how this works in worship music. So a very popular hymn, Victory in Jesus, actually uses this in the chorus. It goes like this: He sought me and bought me with his redeeming blood. Let me do that one more time. He sought me and bought me with his redeeming blood. It's right there. His redeeming blood. We're in the key of G, and that's an A7 going to a D. Now, A7 is not in the original key, and that's a 2-7 going to 5, or a 5-7 of 5 going to a 5. So now that we have gone over an example on the guitar, I'd like us to do a similar one on here. So we're in the key of D, and we have a 5-7 of 5 going to a 5 chord, but this one is in first inversion. Now, first off, we need to figure out what these chords are. So in the key of D, the 5 is an A chord, okay? And the 5-7 in the key of A is an E7. So we know that this is an E7. And in the key of D, an E7 would be considered a 2-7 in Nashville numbers. Then we just mentioned the 5 chord in the key of D is A. So this is an A chord, and because it's in first inversion, it's an A over C sharp. And on here, this would be a 5 over 7 in Nashville numbers. Now let's part write this. So the E7, 5, 7, 5, we can start by putting the E, then let's put a B there, get the 7th, the D, and then G, but we're not finished. We have to make sure to add the accidental because it is a G sharp. And now we have the A over C sharp. We can put the C sharp needs to be in the bass because it isn't first inversion. Now we can put the A right there, and then we'll put the E there, and then we can add another day. Great job, y'all.